You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Hey, everybody, McGill here, along with...
I'm Jamie.
We're One More for the Good Guys. Thanks so much for coming back and visiting once again. Hope you enjoyed the special little episode we put out last week. I think we were really happy with it and on to something, and hopefully you like it as too. As always, be sure to leave us a comment. Like, subscribe, follow, tell all your friends, taking that out in the paper. Find somebody important, do something, would you? Tell people about us.
Put a billboard up.
Yeah. Something. But we thank you for all the continued support. We get a lot of comments and a lot of people come up to us, talking to us when we're out playing music or just out on our daily walks about. And we thank you for all the support. We're like the Bartle and James of the podcast world. We thank you for your support.
I even thank our guests too. For
yes,
on.
Absolutely.
It's really a big part of the show. So
absolutely. Remember, we're new. Let's see, we got all kinds of social media stuff. We're trying to post content every day, more and more. Jamie does a great job with production and all that stuff, and I'm trying to step up my game slowly but surely for the podcast page. And but you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok now, as well as YouTube. Look for One More for the Good Guys, or look for Good Guys Cigars. If you want to know a little bit more about the latter of that, the Good Guys Cigars, just go to use your big brain you know the rest of it, and search for us and get on the sign up page and all that stuff, and you can learn about what we're doing there as well. So,
and really the best place to connect with us is if you want to hear all of our content, see all of our content, YouTube is the best place.
Yeah.
Because we post all the videos there, but all the podcast feed goes there too. So if you just want the audio, right. And 5 years ago, I wouldn't recommended that because YouTube would buffer a lot. That's no longer the case.
Mm-hmm. No, it's things have improved. There's certain things we can talk about and certain things we can't talk about it when it comes to tobacco related products and different things like that. But we have information out there. We should not be hard to find. So just use your head. And again, all we can say is thank you. We're going to keep doing it until it didn't fun anymore. That was the agreement we talked about and what we wanted to do with this thing. And so far, I'm still having fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
we're still going to smoke cigars and sit in honky tonks, so might as well record it.
Yeah. Drink beer.
Yeah. Whatever.
Talk about everything and all the good things that are happening, and maybe some of the stuff that's not happening so good, but nonetheless, we're here to try to spread a little good light and a little bit of education about some things we know about, and we thank you for your support. What are you smoking considering?
I am smoking an Oliva Master Blends 3. Right here. Which Oliva, the brand, we're all familiar with that, and usually the Oliva stuff has a series letter, V, G, O, whatever. The Master Blend is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper on Nicaraguan mitered filler. So it's right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pressed I wouldn't even say it's a box press. It's just almost flat pressed.
Yeah.
It's just very squished. But the draw's great. And so far, I've had these a while, and they get better with age.
I agree to
in
that.
the humidor.
Wholeheartedly.
And at first they were a little harsh, but now very smooth. A little chocolate on the front end, and kind of the cold draw had a little bit of hay. It was it's a stout stick though. I mean, it's not not for the faint of heart, but so far I like it. This is the Robusto size.
I like that size. What is that size? Is it a 50? I mean, it's going to seem smaller because it's the box press like that.
5 by 50.
5 by 50. So very traditional size. Really hard box press on it. But like you say, it almost isn't a box press, kind of. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I would agree. I've had them in Churchill. I've had them in different sizes through different Cigar of the Month clubs and different things like that I've gotten them, and just trying a few here and there. And my favorite is the Robusto size.
And they're pretty, on a regular MSRP, they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
But I was able to get, the reason I got these is because they were like a steal, like $75 for a box. And they've grown on me. I'm a fan now. At first I was it was
that's also something too, as we talk more and more, as we kind of do a little bit of a better job on formatting the shows and coming up with things to talk about and visit with you all with is, put your all's comments. Do you like that stick? You might hate it. You may think it's a dog rocket.
Or you might never had it.
Or you may say, boy, I really like those. And if you're following Good Guys Cigars, that's kind of important information for us to collect from you, because we might be able to do something nice for you in the future.
Correct.
Is that a good way to say it?
Yes. Be kind to each other. Right?
Yeah.
Joe, what are you smoking?
I am.
You don't know, do you?
I do not know. I do not know. And this is the fun of this. I read about this company, and then I watched a few videos about this company and how all the stuff is. But this is a Robusto size cigar, and as you see there, it's got a very generic wrapper or label on it. But it's also got this little bitty QR code up here.
Which you're going to let me scan, so I'll know what it is.
Which I'm going to let Jamie scan, so he knows what it is. Don't show me.
No, I'm not going to.
And throughout the show, I'm going to tell you what I'm getting out of it. And
it's not letting me. There's a light or something in the way.
Here, try it there now. Maybe my finger. I'm going to try to give you an honest, blind review on this cigar, but it comes from a company named
I got it.
Standard and Twain. I believe they're out of Nashville, and their whole purpose is you basically find them online. That's as much as I can tell you. And you go there and you fill out a little questionnaire. You kind of tell them what the different notes that you like in your cigars, and they compile that all up in their big brain smart machine, and they come up with a summary of all that. And then you can either get 4 cigars once a month, or you can get 4 every other month, or I think you can even double up on them, so you can have 2 of the same stick per if you decide to get 8. Is we clear on that? And but anyway, it comes in a very discreet packaging, very, very rustic, frontiers-like packaging. And there was a really good quote by Mark Twain, and that's kind of where they got their mission statement from. I need to pull that up and read that.
He's probably the second most famous cigar smoker of all time.
Yeah.
First being obviously Winston Churchill. We smoke Churchill size cigars. We don't smoke Twain size cigars. So there's
oh shit. I shouldn't have. I should have had this already done. My apologies. But at any rate, um, it's just a really neat way for somebody who's not completely brand new to the cigar hobby. And maybe maybe you got a year or 2 years maybe under your belt, and your palate's starting to kind of get refined, and you're starting to taste things like Jamie said with hay and chocolate and the different things that you get tasting wise in cigars. So, this comes to you blind, and you're able to smoke those cigars. It comes with a flavor wheel, and and a little note card and everything. You can keep the notes on it. And then when you get down to the end of it, you can scan the little QR code, and it'll tell you exactly what they are, what the stick is, and reveal itself to you. And then you can compare your notes against the Standard and Twain aficionado notes, if that makes sense. It's just a really fun thing.
It's a mystery box.
It is a mystery box. And
you don't know what's in the box, and you don't know what it is when you open the box. So.
And I can tell you this, there are a few cigars that I've had. I've had the subscription for probably about 4 months, 5 months
4 or 5.
Something like that. Maybe 6 at the most. But it's turned me on to a couple of blends that I probably either A, never heard of, or B, would have never tried because I didn't know anybody else that smoked them.
Or something that you couldn't just get a one-off at a brick and mortar store either.
Very much so. Very much so. That's a good point. It's a really fun thing. And I recommend it. They seem like a really good company. Everything's been right on time. There's been no issues with charges. There's been no issues with the cigars coming in damaged. They come in packaged nicely. They come with a little Boveda pack in them, the whole 9 yards. So I can't brag on them enough. And
very interactive company. They like a lot of our posts and stuff. So
yes.
They are very supportive of the cigar community too, which is nice.
Their mission is to provide a cigar tasting experience that helps people discover their favorite cigars without bias. There you go.
That's basically what you do when, the big publications do their blind reviews. They just hand them a stick with a number on it.
Yeah, very much so.
You smoke it. And I wonder if they get to find, well, that's a different subject, but I wonder if when they do that kind of review thing, if once they review it and write it down, they're like, okay, this was this. Or they just don't tell them ever.
Well, I don't know when it comes to that. I know with this company that we're talking about is you can also, after your reveal, you can log in your notes. So that's interactive that way as well.
Nice.
So it's I thought it was a very neat concept, and I've posted pictures and different reviews of different ones I've had on our social media stuff. And I thought, you know what? I should smoke one on the podcast and show a little love. So Standard and Twain, go check them out.
Yeah, it's a great idea too. And one thing to note about, you said entering your own notes about how you taste something. Listen, there's no wrong answer to that. Mm-mm. Okay. Just because we are the experts out there somewhere, tasted this, and this, that doesn't mean that's what you're going to taste, And I was just thinking about how to describe and to get your palate in such a place to where you can start tasting different things. And just think about this. If somebody said, hey, what does a corn dog taste like? Well, you know what a corn dog tastes like if you've had one, but being able to describe what the corn dog tastes like is a whole different animal, right?
Very, very much so. Well, you're using another part of your brain,
yeah,
and you're trying to be a descriptor,
yeah,
and be descriptive with your words, and so it's it's a really neat concept. And like I say, if you've been in the hobby for a year or two or something like that, and you're wanting to start trying to figure out how to come up with all this stuff everybody talks about, then there's no better way to do it than, this is a really it's economical way, and it doesn't take a lot of time. You can kind of get into a little ritual and have your little certain time of the night or the time of the day that you can still off by yourself and really concentrate and enjoy the cigar they send you.
This is there's a lot of cigar clubs that'll mail you stuff and you don't know what it is till you get it. But this idea, that you don't know what it is until after you smoke it, unless you want to cheat, but that's no fun.
Yeah.
You smoke it and you're like, oh man, you start thinking about the cigars you've had as you've had more. You're like, well, this looks like and feels like, but then you taste it and you're like, oh, I don't think so. So It's fun. If nothing else, it's fun and it is economical. So
I would say the ash just fell off. So we're in the first third of this one. Upon light up, I would say this is, very medium body. I'm probably going to guess this is a Nicaraguan tobacco of some sort because it's got some spice to it. It's not crazy. Not going to blow your nose off on a retro hell or anything like that, but it's spice. And little bit of a kind of an arid smoke texture. Hoping that kind of changes a little bit, that it might get a little more chewy or creamy, but solid medium body, not medium plus. Very solid medium, and I like solid mediums.
I do too.
I used to. I got into a long while, and that's another thing. Your palate will change. I know when Jamie and I really first kind of started hanging out and talking cigar stuff together, you were a Maduro man all the way.
Oh yeah, sweet tooth.
Yeah, and I was like, well, man, you should try this so and so Connecticut or this Habano wrapper or this Cameroon wrapper, because I was on the other side of that. Well, we kind of swapped sides. Then I went all Maduro for a long time.
Yeah.
And stronger, fuller flavor, fuller body cigars. And but now I kind of find myself, I really enjoy just that nice, solid medium. I still like a nice full flavor every once in a while, but I like that solid medium strength. It's just easy. But we'll talk more about that as we go along. What's been going on, man? Have you been watching the MLB? The wild card playoffs?
Yeah. I have.
I think baseball kind of got it right.
Well, at least you can find the damn games on TV.
Shit.
That's the main thing.
Damn crystal ball and Jimmy the Greek.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That shows my age, folks, but look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, look up Jimmy the Greek for sure. You'll get a kick out of that one. Geez, he died. He's dead.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what he'd be doing right now if he was alive?
Saying something racist. Okay, that's good. It's good.
Hey, you tuned in. I didn't.
That's right. Well, the playoffs.
Wild card playoffs.
Wild card playoffs too.
Which 20 years ago we didn't have.
That's right. The best part about it so far has been that the Detroit Tigers swept the Houston Astros.
Oh, that was definitely a highlight for sure. Yeah.
The pitcher the other night in the final game of that series, his payroll was as high as the entire Tigers team.
I know. That was so good.
Yeah. So go back to Houston, you bastards.
Cheaters.
So that was nice. I did hate to see Baltimore fall out. I wanted to see Baltimore do well. I think the city needs it.
And that's crazy. I mean, because, they're in the East. They're They're in the same division as your
Yeah.
Yankees.
Yankees, but I got to see them on TV, so that's why we.
No, I get
just
it.
got to
I'm
watch
just
it.
saying.
Cal Ripken was a hero,
Yeah.
and then that kind of thing. But they got the Royals beat them. I tell you what, they're playing good ball right now, and so the Yankees got the Royals next, and then.
Well, I told you 2 weeks ago. You asked me. You said who you like in the series, and I said, well, they're not playing great ball right this second. I said, but you better watch out for Kansas City. Man, I'm telling you what, they're at that right spot. They remind me of that Phillies team that wasn't supposed to be there and won it all.
Yeah.
They remind me of that. And the big thing, there was two big standout things about Kansas City. They're from worst to, in the playoffs this year. And the other big thing, two more big things. The first big thing is they got a starting rotation of 4 pitchers that can go for complete games.
Yep.
And 2 of them might be 2 of the best starters in baseball right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
And we know with football, defense wins championships, and we know with baseball, pitching certainly greases the wheel and helps. So, I was disappointed to see Baltimore go out. And the third thing with Kansas City is that kid Bobby Witt Jr.
having a great season.
Gosh,
not gonna win the MVP though.
No, but he's gonna come in second to Judge. I would think.
And I saw something on him last night. I think he's the fastest base runner in the league right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy with Dela Cruz at Cincinnati. I figured that guy. I mean, he takes 2 steps, he's standing on first.
I know it.
The only series at the filming of this, this will post the date will October 6th?
Yeah.
Or 7th. October 7th.
Today as we're speaking, or this evening that we're recording, will be game 3, the Mets and Brewers.
That's the only of the wild card series that's not determined right now. And I think what is it right now with that? Or they're tied at 1 apiece. So it's obviously winner take alls. It's best of 3.
So I think baseball got it right finally for a change with these wild card playoffs. So whoever has the best record has home field advantage out of the wild card teams. So that does 2 things for me as a baseball fan, and 2 things I think for the people who are not fans that always say it's not interesting, it moves too slow, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? That creates tension. It's a best of 3. So that means if you are the team, such as the Tigers, that has an $18 million payroll, and every other team that's made it is well into the hundreds of millions of dollar payrolls, you got to go into Houston and you got to beat them. You got to beat them twice.
And you did.
And they did.
That's right.
And there was tension the entire time. It made it interesting. There was something to talk about. It made small ball important. It made the pitching important. It made the home runs important. Stolen bases or something again now that's going to change the outcomes of games again, finally. So I think that the way they got it, and I know why they did it this way, they've tried to jam everything in to 3 games, and the home team having the home field, or the best team having home field advantage, so they can get it all in before football. That's exactly why they've done it.
Well, it makes sense.
And I think they've finally totally got it.
Yeah.
You had tension with, there's the Braves. Great team. Got put out. Had to go in and win 2 against
Padres.
The Padres. Well, guess what? You didn't get it done. You had 162, and I'm not picking on the Braves. I'm just saying in general. You have the so we said the Royals, and who was the other? The Tigers going in. The Royals go into Baltimore. Baltimore's hot. They're making a comeback. You know, the last couple of years they were a last place team for
a long time.
For a long time. You know, but guess what? They were up for the challenge, and KC went in there and beat their ass.
That's right.
And I don't want to hear it from anybody that says, well, they should be able to get a home game back so the fans piss off. You had 162 games to get your ass out there and see those guys play, number one, or you had 81, right, for home games.
Yeah.
And guess what? You didn't get it done. They couldn't get it done. So now it's sudden death. It matters.
Yeah.
So I think they got it right.
I agree with that. I think that, well, I don't think I'm hoping, God, I don't like the Brewers or the Mets, but since I really don't like the Mets, I guess I'm going to have to pull for Milwaukee. And then it'll be, what does the National League side look like? Who are the Dodgers playing?
The Padres.
All right, so Dodgers and Padres.
Padres and Dodgers, and then it'll be the winner of tonight's game, Mets or Brewers. I can't pull for the Brewers. I'm a Cubs fan. I just can't pull for the Brewers. But it'll be the winner of that game will be against Philadelphia.
Right, who won their division.
Yeah.
So what is your prediction? We'll have to guess on the other side of the National League, but on American League, what's your division series?
So tonight, I think the Brewers probably win it.
Okay.
Mets had that game. It's in Milwaukee. Yeah. Mets had that game won last night and let a late inning lead get away and lost it. But that's typical Mets. I mean, Mets, Jets, right? They both rhyme. So ask me your question again. I'm sorry. I think it'll be Brewers and Philly. So
Brewers and Philly. That'd be a good series.
Yeah, I hate to say this.
Feels like a good blue collar series.
It's very much so. I hate to say this, but if it does come down to somebody playing the Phillies, it's probably going to be the Phillies. They're probably going to win. They're just aggravating enough. They've got just enough moxie that it fits their culture, who their identity as a team. They're tough. They're blue collared. They don't give two flying shits, you know.
Right.
So I think Philly wins whoever faces them.
And they
if that
were
was
consistently one of the top two teams in the baseball too. So it's not like they're just they've done it start to finish. So for me,
and they've been there a bunch in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, they
won a series. And who you got in that one?
In the National League side, I'm picking the Phillies to be for me, regardless of who wins that Mets Brewers thing. The pennant's going to be the Dodgers and the Phillies. That's who it's going to be. And I think that on the American League side, you've obviously got those matchups set. I think the Yankees beat Kansas City in 6 games.
Ooh.
And I think that
Cleveland.
I think Detroit beats Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah. I think you're going to have a Detroit Yankees pennant series.
Boy, that'd be old school.
Man, it would be.
That'd be good for baseball, too.
It would be. I mean, and for all the conspiracy theorists out there that think everything's fixed, I mean, everybody knows what baseball wants. They want a Yankees-Dodgers series.
Oh, that would be the absolute best thing ever for baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball is a sport. Baseball is a product. Baseball is a business.
The 2 biggest superstars in the same games.
2 biggest markets in the world.
Yep.
I mean, or in baseball. That would be great for baseball for sure. I think Well, and you think about this too. How wild is it? Detroit's good in football. Almost, I mean, was basically 2 quarters away from being in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
They're kicking ass this year. Did you see that game? The Seahawks game?
Saw the highlights.
Highlights.
Yeah.
Goff threw for 18 for 18, 2 touchdowns, and caught one for a touchdown.
Well, you talk about a trade that worked out for both teams.
Both teams.
Goff and Stafford.
Big time.
But yeah, I mean, now
you got the
Tigers
with the lowest payroll in baseball. I mean, I don't know if that's a completely true stat, but it's got to be close. Who have just been horrible as long as the line. Hey, the last time Detroit was good was when Kirk Gibson could still run.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, 1983, they won the series, right?
Trammell, Lou Whitaker, and
Gibson.
What's
his first name?
And the pitcher,
Jack Morris. Yeah. What was the second? Was his name? Was Kirk Gibson on that team?
Yeah.
Who was the second baseman? Whitaker.
Sweet Lou.
Yeah. That was one of the first baseball series I remember, just like really early.
And I think
they played.
I think Trammell,
shortstop.
Shortstop.
I think he won the batting title that year.
Probably
something like that. Anyway, I think it's going to be Yankees-Dodgers series.
Okay.
I just think it is. I think that's the script that would play out best. And I think baseball needs that.
They do.
I would.
They got to get something. I mean, they got to get something right because they've screwed everything up for so long.
That'll be, I don't know this, but I'm going to look it up. This will be something for you at home to look up. I bet you if that series takes place, it'll be the first time that 2 teams face in the World Series that each had a 50-plus home run player. I bet that's true.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because it's not been done that much.
That's a thought.
And a lot of times it was done in the same league. Sosa, McGuire, and they didn't make the series.
Yeah.
And then
Ruth, Judge didn't get
he wasn't in the series when he hit 6.
Well, what I was going to ask was he didn't have the stolen bases.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's
which
is Ohtani.
Not taking anything away from his feet. I just was.
No. I mean, but Ohtani's a different animal. Man. And you're not going to convince me that he's not involved in that gambling shit, but that would have destroyed baseball. That would have been the end of Major League Baseball in the form we know it. Had their superstar been.
Well, we'd certainly got rid of that asshole commissioner if that would have happened, but it probably would have killed the sport.
It really put a big damper on it for sure.
Absolutely.
So
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bat. I'm going to take my Mongo bat. And I'm going to pine tar this sumbitch up.
Oh, God.
Up to about right here.
You're going to hit a hard run and
I'm going to put me a shrine over there to number 5 in baby blue and pray to the gods of George Brett and pine tar bats to beat those bastard Yankees. And then I'm going to go get my favorite Hawaiian shirt that I haven't wore since 1989. And I'm going to go buy me a Detroit Tiger hat and get me a model Ferrari for Magnum and put me a shrine and some candles over there and pray for Detroit to win. And then whoever wins that, I'm fine with. I'm going to stick with it, man. And not just because, obviously I hate the Yankees and not just because of that, but I'm telling you, a couple weeks ago, I said this and I'm going to stick with it just because if it does happen,
you said so.
I said so. And that's enough.
Right.
I'm going to say golly, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it's going to be Kansas City.
You're going to say the Phillies, ain't you?
Man, what year was that? Rose and oh shit, not Rose, but Brett and Schmidt. That was a World Series. Remember that?
It
Phillies
would have been about 80,
80, yeah.
80, maybe. I'd look it up.
But anyway, I don't want to say the Phillies, but oh, I got to pick somebody though, don't I?
Yep.
I'm going to say Kansas City is going to do it. And yeah, screw it. I'm saying it's going to be a repeat. I'm going to say it's going to be Kansas City and Philly.
Oh God.
I know. I don't really want it to be. I would, because I'm a baseball fan, it would be much better if it was New York and LA, like we've just discussed, but I'm gonna go completely.
I could say Kansas City and the Phillies playing, but I'll tell you what, probably won't watch it. I probably won't watch it. I don't know. I think that that's a very viable thing, and I'd be okay with, the only teams that I hate that are left are on the National League side. So, I'm indifferent with the Padres. I hate the Dodgers with every ounce. Well, I hate the Red Sox worse, but Dodgers and
I have a very
hate the Phillies. God almighty.
I do too. I don't like I don't like anything Philly. I don't like the Flyers. The only reason I didn't like the Sixers. I love Dr. J
and Barkley,
but I don't like the Flyers. I don't like the Phillies. I certainly don't like the Eagles.
Oh God.
But I do have very much of a lost, like a young love for the Dodgers, though, because that's,
like Gibson memory.
Well, and even before that, it was Yankees Dodgers.
Yeah.
Just about all the time,
I know, that's why I hate them.
I know. And that's up until like 82 or 83 when we got cable and I started really enjoying the Cubs. I mean, I always pull for the Dodgers, but I don't think they can. I don't know. Can Dave Roberts get it done? I mean, if he don't get it done with Ohtani there and after the season they've had, they'll run him out of town.
Well, you're correct.
The last 3 years winning over 100 games and not ever making it. I mean,
well, it's been a curse.
Yeah.
Mattingly had the same problem out there. I think it's Yankees Dodgers. I think that's the script.
I'd say you're probably right.
That's wanted. I would imagine that the Vegas odds, that's what it is because they're both the top teams. But who am I going to watch if it's not? I'd watch I'd watch a Kansas City, San Diego series. I'll watch that. I'll watch Kansas City, or anybody versus San Diego. And, but that's, or the Brewers, but I'm not watching any Dodgers bullshit unless there's pinstripes on the other side. That ain't happening. Although I am very impressed. On paper, they are the best team. They're the best team on paper, especially offensively.
Oh, absolutely. How's their pitching, though? I mean, the Dodgers. I don't know.
Let's hope it sucks. I don't.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't. I think as far as staffs, as far as pitching staffs as a whole, I think Kansas City's got it.
I do too.
I think they got the best.
I do too.
And that's why I think it's going to be really
the best
hard.
Left.
And I don't think they got a damn thing to lose.
Oh,
and they're going to play like their heads is on fire. And so that's why I'm picking them out of the AL.
And so is Detroit. And plus, they're both teams are playing great. So it ain't how you start till you finish. I mean, it's very much No 100-game winners. It's not like there's huge numbers separating these teams. Wins, losses.
And you think about this too with this playoff thing. Getting back to it just for a second with the wild cards, with it being a best of 3 and it being a home, you're not going to have those big gaps.
That's right.
So if a team's hot, they're not going to have this week or 2 weeks of cooling off before they have to get into the meat of the pennant or the ALCS or DLCS or NLDCS. So it's that's a big thing. I think honestly, I don't brag on baseball enough, but I think they got that right this year.
Yeah. I mean, in some of the stuff, I hate that runner on second in the 10th inning shit.
That's really the only rule change that I don't like is the ghost runner thing for extra innings.
Well, I don't know how I feel about the bases
we
being
we did that in T-ball or
that's all right.
In wiffle ball, you know.
Is that the plan for the playoffs too?
I think so.
I hope not. That would suck. I'd hate to have a game decided that.
I don't know that to be 100%, but I think that's that's the rule. It's been the rule for a while. So,
but I'll tell on the air what I told you. This is a little off the subject, but it's still baseball.
Shit.
Because we lost Pete Rose like 2 days ago. Right?
I was going to say something about that.
If they put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame,
they can't.
After he's dead, I hope a meteor hits that fucking commissioner while he's driving down the interstate. Because, listen, I don't know if they know where we stand, but Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I had an interesting thought on this. I agree 100%. And I had an interesting thought about this the other day. And I kind of changed my mind a little bit, and this might be a shocker to you, but
shit.
I think, first of all, he was not suspended or banned for life from baseball. He was banned for life from ever being a baseball employee again. The Hall of Fame is completely separate of Major League Baseball. They are not the same owned company. They have no affiliation other than they are the Hall of Fame for baseball.
They are the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame and not the MLB Hall of Fame.
Correct. So in my opinion, just like Bonds, just like Clemens, just like Pettit, Palmeiro, any of them that was McGuire, what does it hurt to put their fucking names on the ballots? At least give each of them that respect and then let it be decided. And if that is your job as a museum, which the Hall of Fame is a museum, and their main mission, just like we went over Standard and Twain's mission, the Hall of Fame's mission is to tell the story of what? Baseball. Well, guess what? A guy who had 5 home runs one year won the MVP. A guy who won more games than any other major league player. A guy who had more hits, 4,256 hits. A guy who had 17 All-Star game appearances and 5 of them in different positions. If they got a hot third baseman, guess what, Pete? We're going to need you to play first. Yeah, man, no problem. Whatever's best for the team. If you're going to tell the story of baseball, then tell the fucking story of baseball. Tell the good, tell the bad. That's my 2 cents. That was my thoughts on it the other day. And I thought, if you can't do anything, you should at least, all of those guys that have waited the times for this should at least have their fucking names on the ballot.
Exactly.
Now,
the names are, okay. on that part.
Wouldn't that be a great first step, though?
They couldn't put, they never put Pete Rose on the ballot, but Bonds and that crowd have been on the ballot.
Right.
They just not been getting enough votes. Here's what I think about it to add to what you said. I think that's a great take on it. I've never heard that before, that way around it.
Right.
There's two things about the Hall of Fame election system I don't like. Number one, the people that are voting. I don't think that's the correct group of people that should be voting. Back when the press had credibility overall and what they said you could take to the bank for the most part, okay. Nowadays, no. I think every Hall of Famer that's alive should get a vote. I think that the coaches, or not even that. How about this? The owners get a vote. Take it out of the press's hands, the sports writers. Get rid of that. Number one. The other thing I don't like is that there being a limit to how long you can go before you can get on the ballot. Or not before you get on the ballot, when you can't be on the ballot any longer. You understand?
Right.
Why is that a rule? Why is that a rule? That's not a good rule. I don't like that rule, especially since, like all those people you named, I don't care how they do it as long as it's consistent. One person that's in the Hall of Fame that had the same issue and pled guilty-ish that's in the Hall of Fame is Big Papi.
Yeah.
Okay? Be consistent. Because there ain't no way in hell you're going to tell me that Big Papi's better than Barry Bonds. There ain't no way. No. He ain't going to tell you that. So be consistent. If you want to keep them all out, let's have a consistent thing. Not, I don't like Barry Bonds, even though he was never proven guilty. I don't like Roger Clemens because he was never proven guilty. Palmeiro came out and admitted A-Rod should never be in the Hall of Fame because he admitted it and got caught.
Yep.
Okay.
And started it.
But hellfire.
Twice.
The public opinion,
fuck you, A-Rod.
Yeah, fuck you, A-Rod. And I'm a Yankees fan. Cocksucker. He's the one that started all this damn out of sight payroll shit.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not going to blame the man for taking $250 million because at that point he was the best player in the game. But, geez.
Yeah. Well, I think getting back to the issue of Pete itself, we all know Pete was his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
That's all fine. But I can tell you this much. There wasn't a sports fan that was alive in the day that he played that was ever cheated by Pete Rose.
By watching him play. He gave everything he had every day that he ever played.
And we're going to come up with a shirt. I just had an idea. And we're going to do it in honor of Pete. We're going to start selling them here, just so you know all this.
All right.
But you can't spell compete without Pete.
Without Pete.
Period.
That's right.
And I think that if they tried to do it now, it would be so hypocritical that it might destroy any credibility that they have that exists in any shape, form, or fashion with baseball right now.
Well, they've already done something similar already this year.
Okay, what's this?
Well, where they said,
maybe I know, and I'm just not picking.
Well, we talked about it before when they took the Negro League stats and then they just stuck them in there.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of weighing them out based upon the percentages and whatever. I'm not saying that those players shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
No,
or
they
whatever,
totally should be.
But it's.
But they also shouldn't feel like that they were shortchanged.
Right.
Because they were shortchanged all their whole entire career.
Yeah.
And, they were more than equal. They were above equal. They were better. Let's see. They were better than equal because of unfortunately, because of all the hardship that they had to go through than any professional baseball player at the time. This is what Jamie's saying is it's simply just a stat issue.
It's a mathematical issue.
It's a mathematical
and that's
issue.
It. It's like correct. if you batted, if you played, let's say you're Josh Gibson,
60 games versus
Josh Gibson is
60.
Now the all-time leader in batting average. over Ty Cobb, right? Okay. Fine and dandy. But the problem is,
it was a racist piece of shit they let in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's
but
like, what the
probably
hell?
top 3 player of all time. So it's not a character contest. It's a baseball contest.
No,
you know
and getting back to the point.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
So, but Josh Gibson only got to play in 600-ish games.
Right.
Okay. Well, do the math on that. That's less than 4 in MLB seasons.
Right.
Even back when they were playing 156, right? Or whatever the numbers are. You can't do an average, average on somebody that's played 5 times that long. Okay. If you maintain a 360 batting average over 20 years and I maintain the 372 over 5 years, who should be the leader? Well, you. It's as simple as that.
And again, if you want to tell the story of baseball, the good with the bad, why isn't every player that played in the Negro Leagues in the Hall of Fame for everything they had to endure as a sport?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not,
I'm not saying
I don't know how to come from that end of it, because obviously I'm a white person. So all I'm saying is obviously those players were just as good as the Major League Baseball players, but let's give them their due.
Absolutely.
Josh Gibson is considered maybe the greatest home run hitter of all time. I've heard that many, many times.
Right.
He didn't have the resume, if you will, the length of resume that Babe Ruth does.
Right.
Okay, so you don't go in and say Josh Gibson's the home run leader because he hit 200 home runs, so we took that, and by the number of games, so he would have had 900. You don't do it that way, but that's what they're doing with the averages.
Right.
Most of the stats wouldn't matter, as far as, because they're numbered, they're quantitative, they build in numbers, number of hits, if you will.
I think to sum it all up, that it's just, we live in a great, big, hypocritical world, and the Hall of Fame is
popularity
contest. I mean, how do you keep Kurt Schilling out of the Hall of Fame?
Well,
hate him, love him, like him,
political,
right? That's again popularity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the toughest pitchers of all time.
Oh, a gamer.
Yeah.
The gamer.
Yeah.
I mean, but at any rate,
beat my Yankees twice.
I don't think you can
two times.
You can't spell compete without Pete.
Yeah. If you had a little boy and you were showing him how he should play baseball, not how he should live his life, you'd say, hey, watch Pete Rose every play.
Yeah.
You don't get Hustle's a nickname if you're lazy. Anyway, we could beat that horse for years and years and years. So, Yankees in 7.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other greats that we lost, I mean, obviously, and we won't spend a whole lot of time on this but Chris Christopherson, probably one of the most prolific, greatest songwriters of all time, would you say?
Top 3.
Yeah.
For me.
From
an impact standpoint. 88 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Only one highwayman left. Willie.
Yeah. How about that?
And then we lost Dikembe Mutombo this week.
One of the absolute all-time greatest humanitarian, not just a basketball player, but a humanitarian who, when he retired from the game, went directly to David Stern, who was the commissioner of basketball at the time, and wanted to know what he could do to give back. A wonderful humanitarian in Dikembe Mutombo, and a great commercial. No.
Yeah, that's right. And even after that, he had a lot. He has been quoted as saying that Jordan was the greatest, and even after the.
Oh yeah.
Of course, that was Dikembe's thing.
Yeah.
And then Jordan did it to him, and
yeah.
But man, then we lost the guy from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
John Ashton that played Taggart. And what's crazy is that Axel F movie just came out this year.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Beverly Hills Cop 1 or 2 good, but it's good. It's better than the third.
It's certainly, you're not gonna watch it and then go, oh God, there's an hour and a half I'm never gonna get back.
Right.
It's not one of those.
You get to see a lot of those actors you hadn't seen in a long time too.
Right.
But yeah, he's gone too, man. It's been a pretty rough week. And then hurricane. Of course, it's not been a good week in America.
No.
2 weeks has been pretty rough.
No, the hurricane, the flood victims, our prayers and
thoughts
and concerns imagine. And,
can't imagine what they're dealing with. It's
as we were recording this, we're going to be playing an impromptu benefit concert to try to raise money for all the hurricane victims in Appalachia. So definitely. And that's something, hey man, that's something that's going to have a long lasting effect on this part of the country for a long while.
I mean, Newport, Tennessee is basically gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Underwater. Asheville.
Yeah.
You can't even get there.
This is this is the second. We're recording on the second, right?
Third.
Today's the third. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just heard this morning that they got 441 open.
Okay.
So there is at least one avenue to try to get by road to be able to get in over there. But
40 across the gorge.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Just craziness and unfortunate events for lots of people. So be sure to do what you can there and give where you can. And let's move on.
Yeah. So
so we got to talking and we came up with an idea. We get lots of questions about cigar stuff, and instead of trying to do it all in one, we thought we would just introduce the topics of getting started for 10 things every cigar smoker should know. We've compiled some information from obviously the internet and from different publications like Cigar Authority, Cigar Aficionado. We're not making any of this up. We're not saying we are any kind of anything other than just
reporting the news and being able to educate a few more people along the way. But so today, before we wrap up, we want to just tell you what those 10 things are and what you can be looking forward to on some of the upcoming episodes. So 10 things, you want to read some of them as well? Sure. 10 things every cigar smoker should know. The first one is cigars are a natural and premium handmade artisanal product. So hopefully we're going to be, when we address that one, we're going to show you and teach you a little bit about the craft side and why these consumable products are actually so natural. Yeah, I've heard it said that cigars are the purest form of consumer product that hits our shore.
Mm-hmm. Tobacco related, I'm sure. What's our number 2 there, Jamie?
All right, number 2. I lost it. It went away here. All right. Okay, yeah. We heard this a lot. I've heard this many times. They say that 200 pairs of hands touch every cigar from seed to field to, aging process all the way to roll to get it into your hands. I've heard it higher than that, 300 to 500.
I heard it a week ago, straight out of Rocky Patel's mouth. It was 300.
Yeah, he ought to know. So, just imagine, there's 300 people have touched this tobacco before you did.
Yeah.
Okay. It is certainly it's an art form.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, things we'll be covering on that is bringing you basically from from where it starts with seed selection, greenhouse cultivation, um, growing habits, how they cure it, why outer wrapper leaves undergo certain things, why filler undergoes certain things, why binders go under certain things, the rolling process, and then the finished cigars with consistency and looking for the right colors, the right feel, the right everything to make that the most the best premium handmade product that you can get. You think about a chef who comes up with a recipe, right? And how much he or she tries to um, go with this recipe and has to recreate it every time they are making this dish before they serve it. Well, think about doing that out of all the natural elements of tobacco from one year to the next. Because last year, old man Johnson's tomatoes grew better and he had a better crop in 2023 than he did in 24. Same way with tobacco. So there's tons of variables there to discuss as well. Number three, we'll talk a little bit about the fermentation process that the tobacco goes under, and a lot of times that's used with nothing but water, air, and or there's different ways. Some people do it in, and we'll have all the terms, and some people do it in tobacco barns. Some people do it in bourbon casks. There's 100,000 different ways of fermentation. It's a fairly simple process, but it's a very timely process, and ideally, it's piled and selected and put into different sizes, different categories, A, B, C, D grades, wrapper grades, filler, binder, so on and so forth. So we'll try to shed a little bit of light on that.
Number 4, aging. Talking about aging tobacco. Once it ferments, the tobacco is either hung or whatever and allowed to age, much like the process of making wine or bourbon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it is to the flavor, because if it doesn't age long enough, you're going to get more of an basically like chewing freshly mown grass, which is a flavor. Hey, that is a flavor. So, but aging is very important to the tobacco and the flavor.
And hopefully we'll be covering the things of like how you can look at it and tell whether or not it's a really well-aged product as it's burning. How you can taste the difference in a very well-aged product as you're smoking it, as well as, what is the perfect time? What is the fermentation process? Well, the key and the big get to, if you will, is to get that tobacco fermented to where it's in its absolute peak to be able to use to make your cigars. So we'll talk about that as well. The fifth thing we'll talk about is understanding a cigar's anatomy. The shoulders, the head, the foot, the binder, the wrapper, the filler, the cap, why good construction is key, what good construction does for you when it's not just to say, oh man, look at that burn. It also imparts that good construction ensures that you're getting the absolute best flavor that you can get out of that blend as the blender intended it for your enjoyment, for your taste and enjoyment.
We're going to talk about how to cut and light like a pro. There's thousands of videos out there about this, but one thing that gets understated or really not said at all is this. You take a great stick, it's aged for years and years, perfect construction, whatever, and get it to this point right here and screw it up. Cutting the cut and the light are vital to an enjoyable smoking experience.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing you can do as the smoker to start your experience the correct way.
Yeah. And it's the biggest thing, to start it the correct way and to also debunk any myth, any tales, any imperfections that you'd say, well, it's the cigar maker that was shitty, or that was this, or it was that. 9 times out of 10, which is one of the most amazing things about cigars and the cigar hobby, in my opinion, is if you cut that thing correctly, you light it correctly, how many times are you going to have something burn wonky or be plugged or
1 in 100?
Yeah, I mean,
less.
it's the preciseness of their quality control is really second to none. So we'll be talking about all that as well. Jamie's touched on this one several times. Number 7 is to smoke cool and slow. Take your time. This cigar we're going to be wrapping up here in another 5 or 10 minutes. And this cigar, Robusto size, and you've seen me. I haven't relit. I've been smoking it. I've let I've been running my mouth. This thing's still burning. I've gotten an hour's worth of enjoyment out of this. So, there's, smoking fast can be counterintuitive. It can ruin your experience. It can ruin the taste. It can do a lot of things. So take your time, slow down.
It'll make you look stupid.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And even, smoking too slowly sometimes can be counterintuitive as well. So, how long should I let the ash go? We'll cover all that stuff. And one of the good things about this stuff is whether you're a newbie, or a seasoned smoker, or maybe an aficionado, I guarantee you we're going to be covering something that even a guy you may know who's been smoking 20 years, we're going to cover something that's going to help him too.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel very confident.
I read something all the time that's like obvious, and I'm like, that makes sense. Why didn't I know that?
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for years like you have. We're also going to be talking about how to choose a cigar, which one, once you've made the decision that, hey, I want to try this. Well, what do you try?
Mm-hmm.
Choosing something that fits your criteria. Hey, I'm a beginner. All right, well, let's not lay you down with the big full strength cigar at first, because, hey, you're just a baby. Baby steps.
And time constraints. Right. You may only have 45 minutes. You may only have 30 minutes.
That's exactly
You may have 3 hours. If that's the case, there's something for everyone.
That's right.
Certain times of days. All of that can really, it can either highlight your smoking experience, or it can be very counterintuitive and possibly even ruin your experience.
Right.
Number 9, Cubans aren't always the best. Why are they? Why are they not? We'll talk about Cuban cigars. I've got a few here, and maybe for that episode we'll smoke them. Okay. We'll cut them and line them and give them a smoke, and talk about those things. We'll also talk about, in that same regard, we'll talk about some of the people who defected and brought seeds, and why they chose Nicaragua, why they chose the Dominican, why they chose Costa Rica, why they chose where they're at now on making cigars.
That's right. And then we're going to talk to you about pricing versus quality, or to sum it up, are more expensive cigars always better?
Mm-hmm.
A quick answer to that is no. But there you get some diminishing returns once you start getting in certain price points and so forth. So the good news is there are great smokes at all price points. That's one of the wonderful things about this hobby, is that, hey, you can smoke a $3 cigar, and really still be good. I did earlier, you know. Um, so that's something we'll touch on, which is, price is an important thing to consider when you get into a hobby like this.
So to touch base with this cigar, looking back, how was yours? You rank yours enjoyable?
Yeah, I mean,
change up any, didn't knock your socks off.
Last third was a little sooty for my taste, and a little bit. And I'm just wondering why that was. Maybe because this, I mean, I always call it's rectangle press. It's just so tight.
Yeah.
There at the end. But overall enjoyable. Not a whole lot of variety from start to finish, except there at the end.
Fairly one dimensional.
I'll say that something like this smoke, I would, as far as box worthy goes, is this a box worthy cigar? For me, no. It's a buy 5-pack or whatever. I did buy a box, but I got a super deal on them.
Right.
So, but if you're going to start with one of these, try a single or a 5-pack. And that's about what I would keep around. This is not something that I would keep in my humidor over time. And even with this brand, this is way down my list of my favorite Olivas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I don't even know if they would if I would recommend those being, I mean, obviously they get a little better with age, but I think there's other things you can you can refer to as stockers in your humidor just to make sure your relative humidity and all that stuff is staying where it needs to be.
Right.
Giveaway sticks, things like
that.
Yeah. I would say. This cigar here, spice, leather, a little bit of cocoa. It's getting a little harsh towards the end. It's not I think it's Cigar Hound Dog that says it's not a crescendo cigar. It doesn't get greater at the end. But it's been enjoyable. You said you had it pulled up of what it was.
Yeah. You ready for the big reveal?
It is a Maduro. I'm going to say it's Nicaraguan tobacco. So you, and then the tasting notes, there's a little bit of cocoa there, but I think it's more of that because of the arid smoke texture. It's a little dry. So the smoke texture is more so, cocoa-ish because of how, it's a powdered thing.
Yeah.
Let me get one more. I think this cigar would get better with age. I would definitely, before you tell me what it is, I'd say it'd get better with age. That's some of my tasting notes. I do say it's Nicaraguan tobacco, and I'd say, for me, it's 5-pack worthy. I wouldn't rush out and try to buy a box of those.
It is Connecticut broadleaf wrapper,
there you go.
Ecuadorian binder, Habano binder, and Nicaraguan filler. And that cigar is the Crown Heads
Mil Diaz Maduro. Okay. That's something that comes up. Crown Heads, I believe they're also they have a lot of Nashville. I don't know if they're a Nashville based company or if they just got a lot of Nashville, a lot of connections to Nashville. I know the Crown Heads makes a series of guitars that were named after Johnny Cash songs, the Jericho Hill, the Juarez.
Cigars, not guitars.
Sorry. I always do that, don't I?
It's got an art in
cigars that have some connections with Johnny Cash and songs, and then I know they at one time did a I think it was a limited series, but they did a limited series of things called the Mother Church. Now that Juarez is a great, pretty budget friendly cigar. That is a chocolate bomb. If you want to figure out, there's you a good one to go get. If you want to say, how does these guys get chocolate I think just about anybody, even a beginner, could, with having that in mind, could tell and pick up the chocolate notes in the Juarez. They do things called Los Calaveras. They do a thing every year with the Day of the Dead. Come out with they've got quite a few cigars and pretty good company. I don't know if that's my favorite though. I've had this same cigar in the Habano wrapper, and I think I like it better than the Maduro. But again, it could be, the Toro might be better.
Well, that's true.
Churchill
and
maybe.
we'll touch on that.
Churchill may be better, but in this Robusto size, I didn't know I was smoking it, but this is the second one of these that I have smoked. And with it being the second one, again, I think it's definitely 5-pack worthy. Just to put them away and let them age a little bit and see how they get. Especially with being the Connecticut broadleaf.
Well, it's not going to hurt them to age them. That's for sure.
But that's it, and that's that. Hopefully you've had a good time. We've talked about some things that you either agree with or don't. You can leave all those comments down in the comment section. Again, interactions, what we're looking for. Tell folks about us. Like, subscribe, follow, check out all the social media presence that we have, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Wherever you can get it, we'll try to be there. Be kind. Man, life's too short, as we found out with talking about the folks who've passed in this past week and with the natural disasters of what the hurricane has brought to many states, not just to the Carolinas and to upper East Tennessee, but be kind to one another. Anybody can be an asshole. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. And you hear me say it each week. There's a price to be paid for cruelty. So that's it. That's that. Life's too short to smoke bad cigars. So get you a good one. Enjoy your people around you. Enjoy the time with your smoke. And you want to do another one?
Absolutely.
You heard it here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
That's one more for the good guys. You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find.